Hello, Juliet. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Good to be here.
How are you, Miss Juliet?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good evening.
Is that you, Mr. Beckford? Yes, it is.
Uh, I could probably give about like 30 minutes of my time. I got money to make.
Funny.
Yeah.
How you doing, Judge Howard?
I'm doing good.
Yes,
How's everybody good?
yes. What's going on, Terry?
What's going on, Anthony? How are you?
Good. Boomer.
What's up, good buddy?
Hi,
Not much.
hi, Boomer.
Hey.
Joanne.
Mr. Beckford, how are you?
I'm all right. Hey, make sure you check your email.
I did check my email. I'll
Okay.
check again.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Oh, know what it is though? Check
Hi,
your
hi
spam too.
everybody.
It's coming from
Hi.
info at Anthony Beckford. It's not coming from the vote for.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. And Imani Sadler. I don't believe we met, but hello, Imani Sadler. How you doing?
Hello, nice to meet you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Sabrina. Okay, I mute myself now.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Um, Hi, Felix.
Hello, how are
Hi,
you?
Peter Sabat. How are you? How you had a question? You're on the other side, just so you know.
Thank you.
Hmm? We're gonna have all the district leaders who have districts in the municipal districts join us on the panelist side. But if you can please mute as the panelists are speaking, and we'll have questions towards the end. Mike Boomer will take those from you so you can type them in the chat.
I'm being assisted by Mr. Terry Hines as well.
Yes, you are. Thank you.
So if I have to run out for a minute, he's gonna take over.
And then Felix, did you have a question? I saw your hand raised.
Hey, Felix, how are you, my friend?
Hello, I'm okay. No,
How's the
I don't
wife?
have question right now.
Your family's good, brother?
I'm sorry?
Your family's
I'm
good?
sorry? Yes, yes, thank you. Thank you for asking. Yes, everything
Yeah,
okay.
give your wife my best for me, please.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Hello, Mr. Jones. How are you today?
I thank God. How are you?
Good. Thank you, District Leader, for joining us.
Thank you. You're welcome.
MVP
Thank you.
Jones,
Hey,
how are you,
hey,
brother?
I'm all right. Thank God. How about you?
I'm well, thank you for asking.
Good, good, man.
Good evening, everyone. We'll begin in just a few minutes. Thank you for your patience. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sabrina Gates, and I have the pleasure of serving as the Deputy Administrator for the Kings County Democratic County Committee, as well as the Secretary of the County Committee. On behalf of the Kings County Democratic Party, I am very excited to welcome to tonight's forum. The four committee members from Municipal Courts District 4, 6, and 7 convene and make very important decisions about who will represent us in the we wanted to provide this opportunity for everyone to hear directly from the candidates who are seeking to serve as civil court judges. Civil court judges play a vital role in our judicial system. They preside over matters that deeply impact the lives of everyday New Yorkers, landlord-tenants, disputes, small claims, personal injury cases, and so much more. It is essential that we select individuals who not only understand the law, but who also demonstrate fairness, compassion, and a strong commitment to justice. Tonight's forum is a chance to learn more about each candidate's background, experience, and vision for the court. We thank all of the candidates for being here and for offering themselves in service for our community. Thank you again for joining us, and let's have an informative, engaging evening. So the districts that will be today are District 6. We district at a later time. We apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused us, and we look forward to candidates to you shortly. So we begin. I'm going to take a moment to say a brief some of our on the call, including District Leader Anthony Beckford,
Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
District Leader Anthony Jones,
Good evening, everyone.
District Leader Michael Boomer,
Good evening, everyone. Blessings, peace, love, and light.
and District Felix Ceballos is on the call. He must have dropped out, but he'll return in just a few minutes. So now we'll begin by giving our candidates a moment to introduce themselves, and we're going to start with Anthony Chidi Easy, who's going to tell you a little bit about himself and why he is interested in running for this position.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity to come before you. I really appreciate this opportunity, and I'm going to give you a little intro. Some of you may know me. In 2018, I did run for district leader. So I do know Anthony Beckford. So my name is Chidi Eze. I was raised in a family of 8. I was born in Nigeria. I lost my dad when I was 16 years old. I am the third of 8 children. So I was 16. So the rest of the 5 of them were under 16, and the top 2 under 20. So it was 8 children for my single mother to raise. And I graduated high school. I scored the best result in mathematics, and they threw me into mathematics because even if I didn't have enough money, they thought that because I was the best student in mathematics. Even if my dad wanted me to read law, he was always telling me that I was going to be a lawyer right from childhood. So upon graduating mathematics, I taught high school and college math, but the call of law and justice was just too much, and the call to honor my dad's wishes. And I raised some money, having worked a little bit. I got admission in University of Birmingham in England. I went over to England to study law. Upon graduation, I came to the United States. I came straight to Brooklyn, from the airport straight to Brooklyn. I never left Brooklyn till today. And I passed the bar exam. I came in 2001. I sat the bar exam. I passed it the first time of asking. And I did work for somebody for about 5-6 months. It's a private lawyer, but I just wanted, we did a few we were doing a lot of social justice cases like prisoners' rights, but I wanted to be on my own. So I dived into my own practice with little or no knowledge of practice, but I continued dabbling until I got it right. And I was mostly doing social justice matters, civil rights, employment discrimination, mortgage foreclosures. I hate when Brooklynites lose their homes. I was fighting the big banks, going against them, and they were wondering what's going on with this little man here. I've done trials in federal court, all branches of federal court, the Eastern District, Northern District, Southern District. I've done employment trials. I've done criminal trials too. I've done bankruptcy. I've done over 1,000 cases in New York courts. I've done over 120 cases in federal practice, mostly civil rights, employment, even mortgages. And that's what drives me, justice. Equal justice, fairness. If that's been my watchword since I was a child. I chase justice to its logical end. And I'm very knowledgeable. I have acquired a lot of experience in the 22 years that I practiced alone as a sole practitioner. I've been before almost every single judge you would think about in New York State, outside New York City. I've done trials in Albany. I've done trials in Rochester and federal courts. I've done trials in Supreme Court in Nassau, Suffolk, Queens. I've done criminal trials. So I hold myself. I know areas that lawyers want improvement from judges. I know they want more compassion, they want more tolerance, they want more understanding from judges. They want judges to listen to them more often, give them more time to argue their cases. They want judges to read their papers, because some judges don't read. They just want you to argue for 2 seconds and they make a decision. And all those papers you've written, you've taken time to write, made all your researches, they haven't looked at it. Lawyers don't like that. We want judges to look at our people. And there's a culture of laziness in some judges where they don't want to read. They want to save their eyes. Those things are not. They're not the kind of justice that most lawyers want. So I'm going to bring a real, proper justice. It's not just delivering. It's not just delivering justice in courtroom, but treating the lawyers differently, right? Too, giving them the respect, making pro se litigants, making them understand that they have listening ear here. They can come to this courtroom and be heard, even without a lawyer. And the research will be done by the judge. I don't need them to do a research for the law. I follow the law wherever it goes. So if you're pro se, you still have a chance in my room. So that's the kind of justice I'm looking to bring. Thank you very much again for having me here. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And we're from Julie Howard.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much to the organizers for having us here and to the participants who are here. My name is Juliet Howard. I'm currently a housing court judge sitting in Brooklyn Housing Court. I was appointed to the housing court bench 4.5 years ago after about 25 plus years of commitment to working with a public interest law. To know a little bit about me is to really know my history. I was born in Sugar Hill, Harlem. I'm an only child. I was born to a single mom my grandmother also helped to raise me along with my mom. My family migrated from the South during the Jim Crow era, so they dealt with a lot of struggles. And really, they are what inspires me. My mother, who had a high school education, and my grandmom, who had a 7th grade education. Though they had limited educational opportunities, they were 2 of the most brilliant women I know, and they inspired me to become the first college graduate in my family. I graduated from Barnard College of Columbia University. After that, I went to Brooklyn Law School. And I knew early on in Brooklyn Law School that I wanted to be committed to public interest law. I wanted to give back to everyone, just as my family had sacrificed for me. And that's exactly what I did. My first job as an attorney was at Legal Aid Society at the Civil Division and the Housing Unit of the Brooklyn Neighborhood Office, where I helped represent tenants in housing court. After that, I went to work in my alma mater, Brooklyn Law School. And there I was an adjunct clinical instructor in Brooklyn Law School's Elder Law Clinic. And that gave me a wonderful opportunity to teach young students, law students, how to be excellent lawyers, how to be zealous advocates and give their all for their clients, while also representing low-income elders. And then I went into the court system. I became a court attorney in the housing part of civil court. And I worked there for many years. I worked with many judges. And because of that, I got an excellent knowledge of the law, of housing law. And I also worked doing lots of research, lots of writing, and lots of skills I learned, such as being able to settle cases. And those are all things that influence my current judicial philosophy. I would say as a sitting judge, what's very important to me is making sure that every person who shows up in court has their day in court. I like to think about the quote of Justice Fern Fisher, retired judge, who's also a role model for me. And she said something to the effect of, a person who comes in front of you, a litigant, will be okay with losing if they know that you listened to them, if they believe that they were heard and that you came to a fair decision. And I think that's so important, that a jurist listens, is fair, and also makes a fair decision. As judges cannot get involved in political community events, but we can do a lot more. So I am very fortunate that I am now the co-chair of the Equal Justice Implementation Committee of the Civil Court in Brooklyn. And that allows me to bring young children all the way from elementary school to high school into the courts. We do moot court with the children. We introduce them to court officers, court attorneys, clerks, so they can see what their opportunities are. I'm also involved in various bar associations, including the Metropolitan Black Bar Association. I'm currently on the faculty of their Judicial Training Academy, and that allows me to give back to community, to give back to young lawyers who aspire to one day be on the bench like me. And so I get a chance to tell them what that process was like for me and what they can do to become jurists. I'm someone who's lived in Brooklyn for 30 years. I've lived here with my spouse and our two sons. We also often call them our sons, S-U-N-S, because they are the shining parts of our lives. I am also a creative author. I'm a poet. And I'm very proud to be the founder of Women Writers in Bloom Poetry Salon. This is a free community resource that I have provided to Brooklyn community for 14 years. And I'm very proud that we just shared our 14-year anniversary. I have received grants from Brooklyn Arts Council for the last 11 years, and I provide free community workshops. I would say I provide a safe space for everyone, for LGBTQ folks, for women, men, people of all ages. We are multi-generational. And that is something that I'm very proud of. In closing, I would just like to say that as a jurist, I'm someone who is fair. I think if you talk to people who appear before me, I'm someone who is incredibly patient. I have a very calm demeanor. I run, I would say, a courtroom where we all get together. We all get along well together, but we also make sure that it's a courtroom that is very functional and we get the work done in a timely fashion, which is also important in court. You have to work within a timely fashion. I would love the opportunity to be elected to civil court judge. And I thank you for your time and for listening. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you much for that. So now add you both. And I think you both already answered some of my next, but I want to ask you about your educational background, the law degrees you hold, as well as any continuing education that you pursue to update on change law and judicial procedures. So if you have anything to add to what you've already said, please do so at this time. And I guess we'll choose this time you talk about it a bit.
Yes, that's a good question. Can I?
Oh, sure.
Moderator? Yeah. Yes, thank you for the question. Yes, like I said, I have a degree in mathematics and I have had a law degree in England, University of Birmingham. I am married with 2 children. My children are young, 17 and 9. My wife is Caribbean. And we've lived in Brooklyn I've lived in Brooklyn for over 24 years, about 24 years. And as the degree, we are required by law, by the Brooklyn bars as well, the New York State bar, to take courses every 2 years, 24 credits. We take courses all the time, refreshing our memory, refreshing our skill, acquiring new skills. So we have that already inbuilt in. It's already inbuilt in being a member of the bar and being admitted to practice in New York. You're required to do your CLE. So that's continuing education throughout the period of being a lawyer in the state of New York. And I do a lot of charity work too. I do a lot of pro bono, and I was telling somebody the other day that but my wife was asking me, why do I'm always in court all the time. I'm always arguing appeal court cases. I'm always and busy with writing appellate briefs and going to United States Circuit Court. And why am I still broke? Well, like, you know what? I'm broke because most of my cases are pro bono. You know, I help people. What can I do? I can't afford to see justice waste. I give free notaries. I've had free notary services for over 20 years the people of Brooklyn know to come to me if they want free notary service. I contribute to a lot of, I have direct debit to a lot of charity organizations. I have direct debit to Shriners. I have direct debit to these children hospitals. I mostly do children hospitals, and I am a member of other ethnic group board. I'm a legal advisor to many ethnic group organizations, mostly from my country of origin. Yes, so yeah, I'm happy to answer further questions when it comes.
Thanks. All right.
Appreciate that.
You want me to
Yeah,
answer
do you
this
have
one?
anything to add?
Sure.
Yeah, if you wanna-
Sure. Yeah.
I know you
Yes.
a lot already.
No, I would just add in terms of continuing legal education. So just last week, I went to our annual judicial seminars that they have. They're pretty much intensive, 3 to 4 days. We're all day long, we're learning. It's for all the judges. So housing, civil, court of claims, family law. And the wonderful thing about that, and like I said, I was just there last week, is I was able to not just sit in on housing law seminars, but also I sat in just to see what other, topics, other areas of law, because I know that as an elected civil court judge, one can be assigned to family, criminal, or civil. And so I was able to sit in on some family law seminars, as well as other areas. So I do definitely keep that up. That's one thing that the court does provide, is continuing legal education, and also new judges do receive very substantive and intensive legal education, depending on what the topic is and what court we're assigned to.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it. My next question has to do with how do you define the court judge? What qualities do you believe are in the position? And Julie at this time.
Tell me, what was the question again?
Sorry about that. No, I'm up a little bit. How do you define the role of a civil court judge, and what qualities do you believe are for the position?
Oh, sure. I believe that many of the qualities which I already have as a sitting housing court judge. Housing court is located in civil court. So I think that some of the qualities that are very important is someone who is extremely patient, someone who applies the law fairly, who listens to litigants, make sure that each person has their day in court, has an excellent judicial demeanor. That's also important. And someone who works well with their staff. I feel that the staff of the courtroom is really like a team. And so it's important for us all to be able to work together to serve the public, because we are dealing with a large amount of people on a daily basis. So I think communication is something that's very important for a sitting juror. So all the skills that are necessary for a civil court judge are skills that I now have as a sitting housing court judge.
Thank you. Chidi?
Yeah, can I get the question again, please, moderator? I'm sorry.
Oh, absolutely. How to define the role of a civil court judge, and what qualities do you believe are essential for this position?
Right, I heard the second part, but I'll try my best to. Well, first of all, I have these qualities to be compassionate. You need to be, it's very important for a judge to be compassionate, because you get all sorts of people come before you. Some people have different mannerism, characteristics. You just have to be patient, listen to them. You have to be thorough, thorough. You don't want to miss out something and deliver wrong justice. You want to be able to read their submissions. You want to give them an opportunity to have an oral argument. You don't want to rush them. The worst thing a lawyer wants, the worst feeling for a lawyer is when he feels that the judge didn't hear me properly. I didn't lay out all my points. I didn't lay out all my positive points for the judge, and she didn't give me the opportunity to be heard fully. So those are the things that make lawyers really feel sad. So you want to give them an opportunity, and not wastefully, but give them time. If you don't have enough, if your courtroom is packed, you can always assign those difficult ones. Can always assign different time for them. Come back. The laziness, the judges, some judges come into courts like 10:30. Lawyers have been waiting there since 9 o'clock. So those are the things you don't want. You want to come to court, have your case dealt with, and move on, not waiting for a judge for 2 hours before they show up. Those are some of the things that qualities that you have to bring to you have to be tolerant to, because some lawyers are rude. We know lawyers are rude generally. I've seen a situation where a judge jumps out of his high table to come and punch a lawyer. But so you really have to be careful with that. You have to have that understanding that everybody's not nice. That's just the life. Everybody's not nice. So you have to be respectful, very important, to respect everybody that comes, because without them, you don't have a courtroom. You have to respect every kind of case that comes before you. You have to treat every case equally. You have to deliver fairness. You have to follow the law. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Both, what is your approach to ensuring equal access to justice for all members, regardless of socioeconomic or actors?
You know, I
Would
don't
you like
know.
me to
answer that one?
Moderator, you're
I'll
cutting
start
off
with Julie.
something. I'm not hearing you properly.
Okay, let me try it. What is the approach to ensure equal access to justice for all community members, regardless of social status or other factors?
Okay, got it.
Would you
Thank
want to
you.
go first?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll answer that one. I think that's a great question. Thank you so much for the question. And that's something that's very important to me in my courtroom, equal access to justice. I think it can look very different depending on the litigant. So examples that I'm thinking of are sometimes if a elderly and or disabled litigant comes in front of me, that might be someone who needs a guardian ad litem. A guardian ad litem is someone that the court appoints to act in the best interest of that litigant, because maybe they can't do that themselves. Sometimes there may be a litigant who will come before me and I will get the sense that they are at risk. And so then what I will do is make a referral to Adult Protective Services. That's an agency that works closely with the court to find out if they're eligible for other services. Other ways of getting access to justice may just literally mean asking my court attorney to walk down the hall. Fortunately, in the courthouse that I work in now, we have lots of those resources. So I might send them to HRA office to see if they're eligible for financial benefits, for one-shot deals, things of that sort. So there's very different ways that access to justice can show up. But I think it is very important. And of course, making sure that the person has access when possible to get an attorney, a free attorney.
Thank you for that. Chidi, do you have anything
Yes,
to
thank you
add,
for
or in your head in
right. Thank you.
agreement? I like.
Well, I do agree on a lot. I just want to add a couple of things. One of the places where judges inadvertently kill justice is when they hold their decisions. When you've argued a case, sometimes, or maybe you had a trial and the decision is taking years to come. I've had a situation where we've briefed motions and we're waiting for a year or two for a decision to come down. And when it's foreclosure matters, both sides may lose because interest is running, everything is running, taxes are going, and you're holding a decision. And at the end of the day, when you deliver a decision, nobody wins, everybody's lost. There's been a foreclosure, this tax sale. So that area might look insignificant to you, but it's very important that you deliver your decisions in a timely manner. The law, I think the rule says 60 days, but some people do it for a year or two. I have a judge that I really admire in Eastern District of New York. His name is Brian Cogan. He rules in 3 days, no matter how complex it is. I like that. I want to emulate that. And again, to be specific on your question about justice, it's really important to make your courtroom really open and friendly, especially pro se litigants that don't have attorneys. It's elderly people, like Juliet said, like Juliet said, you can refer them to the APS, Adult Protective Service. You can get them legal aid. I mean, there are civil, yes, broken defenders, and they have different bodies, different agencies that can help them with their cases. You will, and if they still don't want to do that, you can, as a judge, give them warm reception, listen to them, forget about the law. You can always apply the law to the facts, get the facts, apply the law. Make your courtroom very friendly. encourage litigants to come to you?
So that leads me to my next questions. What ethical principles do you believe are essential for maintaining public trust in the legal system? So what ethical principles do you believe are essential for maintaining public trust in the legal system?
Well, so I go first? Or Juliet?
Yes.
Moderator?
Oh, no, you
Okay.
can go first.
Okay, because Juliet has been, the Judge Howard has been going first all this while, so I didn't want to put that burden on her. As the fair person that I am, I'll take on this first. Right, so yes, ethically, just as a judge, you really have to be mindful of people that you know coming before you. Those are like pitfalls that you have to avoid. If somebody comes to you that you've dealt with in the past, as a lawyer, obviously you will know a lot of lawyers when they come to you. So that's a little bit. But if it's a lawyer that you've dealt with on a personal basis, you really have to recuse yourself and hand the case over to somebody else to maintain the public trust. You really have to recuse yourself. You have to like I said, have to deliver your decisions timely and fairly. You have to maintain a balance. It's not easy. You have to be punctual. You have to come to court and don't keep litigants waiting for you. You have to instill that trust in them that you're a fair person, and this is through your decisions. And sometimes it's not even written decision, just the way you conduct your courtroom. You come in, you smile, you greet everybody, and you call your calendar, and just make it a friendly place. A lot of people are scared of courtrooms. Make it a friendly place. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. I would agree with a lot of what, Chidi has said as well. I think it's important to not be biased. As a sitting judge, you can't have the appearance of impropriety. And those are situations where someone comes before you who you already have some sort of relationship with. You, in those instances, would recuse yourself. I would recuse myself in a case like that, would go to another judge, and I might get another case in exchange. So that's very important. And yes, I think judicial demeanor is also very important in a courtroom, how you run your courtroom. You do want to maintain public confidence in our court system and in our judges. And so those are all ways that we can do that, just to make sure that we're not biased. We continue to be fair. We continue to make sure that each person that comes in front of us gets a chance to sort of say their story, have their day in court. I think that's very important in terms of also having public confidence in the court system.
I think you both touched on it, but how would you handle conflicts of interest if they arose if you're in your term on the bench? How would you deal with it? Whomever first.
Sorry, who goes first?
Whoever.
Oh, either one of you can go first.
Okay, so like I said, you can't handle a case where you have conflict. It's really not allowed, really ethically not allowed. You have to hand over the case to a different judge. You can't do it. I mean, I had a situation where a judge we had a case. I was on one side and he was on the other side. When he was a lawyer, he became a judge, and I had a case whereby I was the actual person suing a client for attorney fees, unpaid attorney fees, and he recused himself. We're not even friends. He just saw my name and like, oh, we had a case against each other. I may be biased because I don't like this guy, so he recused himself. So that's even far, so the short answer to your question is you can't sit on a bench where your litigants are one of them is somehow connected to you by any which way. You just have to let it go. So many cases, you have a lot of cases, so letting one go is nothing. It will replace, the court system will replace that the next day, so you still have your full calendar.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would completely agree with everything Chidi says. In a situation like that, where, there's some kind of outside relationship with the person, you don't, like I said earlier, you don't want to have the appearance of impropriety. You cannot have that in your courtroom. And so I would automatically, recuse myself in situations like that. And again, I think those are all things that are important for public trust, to know that, you know, we're not going to be hearing cases from someone who's, you know, your best friend or someone who, you know, have some
Right.
sort of, you know, relationship with outside of the courthouse. So it's very important to just make sure, you know, just very easy. There's a form that you fill out, your clerk gives it to you, and you automatically just, you know, recuse yourself. And there's, you know, they give you options of various reasons you can check off why you do that. It's always best to be on the safe side, even if you're not sure. I would say just err on the safe side.
Similarly, can you discuss a time when you faced an ethical dilemma during your legal career and how you resolved it?
I can't really think of any, fortunately, you know, I can't think of any, you know, ethical dilemmas that I've faced. I'm, you know, grateful for that. But again, just to give those examples that we talked about earlier, if there was something that, you know, came into my courtroom that I felt was a questionable situation, I would definitely deal with it either by recusing myself, or perhaps speaking to a supervising judge if I had any concerns about how to deal with that. But I've been fortunate so far that I haven't had any ethical dilemmas in the, you know, the 4.5 years that I've been on the bench.
Chidi?
Well, I haven't been on the bench before, so I haven't had such ethical dilemma. But what I can say
Well, in
is
your
I've had it with clients. Like if I have these clients, I represented them together, they were in business together. Now they are fighting, and one of them comes to me to fight the other guy who was my client. So well, you can either do that, or you can ask them to waive. They can waive the conflict. If he wants to waive the conflict, he can waive the conflict. And I did reject him, but then I saw there was an injustice. You know, when I smell injustice, I just jump in. I saw somebody being oppressed by his partner. I wrote him and I said to him, listen, I know I was, you know, let's settle this. I used to represent both of you. But my client has waived the conflict, so I am free to come off, you know, to represent him on this case. So that's what I do. I haven't had much of those, but for lawyers, you just ask, you know, you can avoid doing the case, or you can ask your client to waive the conflict if you really want to go ahead with the case. Thank you.
So now I'm going to introduce you to Imani Sadler, who is a member of the board of the Brooklyn Young Democrats, and she's going to ask a question for you too.
Thank you, Sabrina, and thank you to our candidates for speaking with us tonight. So my question is, young people often feel disconnected from the legal system. How would you use your position as a judge to build trust and visibility with younger generations?
Sure, I could answer that question. Well, I'm in a very fortunate position now because, as I mentioned earlier, I am the co-chair of the Equal Justice Implementation Committee. And so that allows me as a judge to reach out directly to students. And we are actually working now to bring some college students into the courthouse so they can meet everyone in the courthouse. They can do moot court and find out sort of what some of the issues are going on in the courthouse. So I would encourage any kind of communication like that that's possible with inside the court, doing outreach to those outside of the court, including lots of young folks. So I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to do that throughout the remainder of the year.
Thank you.
Did I answer the question, or that's it?
Yes, you can answer the question.
Well, I am, like I said, I am not a judge. I have never been on the bench, but one of the ideas that I've seen judges do this all the time. Some judges do this, like bring students to the courtroom to listen. It encourages them. My son has been invited to one of those. He's been to the courtroom to listen, and he came back. I've been begging him to, not to study law, but he came back and he's like, Dad, that's what I'm doing. So once they see the process, it helps a lot, and you can also, if it's allowed, I don't know if being a judge, if you can go and hold some kind of, I won't say conference, but it's, hold a speech in schools to talk about the role of lawyers in the system, in the society, see if it's going to encourage one or two people. But I don't think with law, I don't think you need to encourage people, because a lot of people want to be lawyers, really. And sometimes I look at them, I'm like, really, you want this thing? A lot of people want to be lawyer. I think this is not a profession where you try to go and bring people in, because they all want to come in. They don't know how bad it is. I mean, I was warned before I got in law school. They warned us. They said, "Listen, I know you want to be a lawyer, but it's not what you think." We're like, "Oh, come on, let's do it. You've done it already. So stop telling us this." And then we realized it didn't even take the first year. We realized that this was true. My eyes were gone. I was using glasses. This was in England. They don't write 2 pages judgment. They write 50, 100 pages judgment. In the United States, 2 pages, 1 page, 3. In England, they go to history of the case, the history of the statute itself, and you get blind before you get to third year. You're using glasses. So yeah, having said that, yeah, this profession, everybody wants it until they know that it's not as beautiful as they think it is. Hard work. It's beautiful. It's noble. I mean, if you like me, all I'm doing is fighting for justice for people. I get so much pleasure. 2 weeks ago, I won a free house for a client. The appeal court ruled in my favor. I mean, we do that all the time. And he got his judgment, his mortgage for free. That kept me excited for 2 weeks. And I'm still high on it. So those are the things you get, So it's a noble profession. It's tough, but a lot of people want to be here.
Great, thank
Amazing.
you.
Thank you. So next question, how would you engage with the community to educate them about the civil court system and your rights? So I know, Chidi, you mentioned perhaps doing some sort of conference. I just wanted to get a sense of if you both had any other ideas, and you can start.
Oh, me? Well, like I said before, those you have a program where you invite high schoolers and middle schoolers to your courtroom to observe, and also have a situation where you can. I don't know if judges are allowed to go make speeches in schools. I guess I'll find out when I become a judge. Thanks to all of you. But if you're allowed to, you could also organize some class lessons, what's it called, speeches in schools to encourage them to be coming to the fold, the legal fold.
I think a great opportunity is to also do collaborations with other organizations. I've spoken about the Equal Justice Implementation Committee a few times, but you can also reach out to the various bar associations. There's so many bar associations that represent different interests.
Right.
The Metropolitan Black Bar Association, we have bar associations that deal with LGBTQ issues. So there are so many various different collaborations that we can sort of do, like with the EJIC. We can also work with those, and that actually ends up being sort of larger events where you can have greater outreach, because many times those bar associations have attorneys who have greater resources that we may not have.
Amazing. So Juliet, you sit on the bench currently, so you can take this question from your current position. But what changes would you propose to improve the functioning of the civil court? What are some ideas that you'd have that you would make things function? I know, Chidi, you mentioned making sure that cases get their results much quicker than what you've seen, and I think that was really good. But Juliet?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I can speak because I'm in housing court, which is a part of civil court. It's in the same exact building as civil court here in Brooklyn. And there are a lot of challenges that we have. I would say that one of the biggest challenges is that we are understaffed. So, for example, I sit in a courtroom where I have no clerk who sits with me. Now, most courtrooms, you should have a clerk, at least one court attorney, and you have a court officer. But because we are so understaffed, I do have a clerk, but she sits in another judge's courtroom on a different floor. So that makes it, a little bit of a challenge. A big part of being a judge is that you're writing decisions, you're getting stipulations, and we expect them to, everything is now pretty much digital, so it gets uploaded to what we call NICET, which is the system that we use. So this may not happen for a while. Fortunately, I have a fantastic courtroom team, and so they will email the clerk who's sitting on a different floor. Many times we don't have enough interpreters. And so sometimes a litigant may have to wait literally the whole day or come back another day because there's not enough interpreters. I understand that I think it's been hard, even though I'm told there is some more funding available to the courts, there are a lot of people. It's just really figuring out how to get people interested in coming in for some of these other positions, including clerical positions, including as well as interpreters. So those are things that I would probably work on a committee that's already working on those issues to find out what can we do to help, because this also helps boost morale. If we can have courtrooms that are fully staffed, it definitely, does affect our morale to constantly, not have a clerk sitting there or trying to get a particular interpreter and not having access to them. So those are all ideas that I would try to work on and maybe find out what's the root cause of that. What can we do to maybe attract more people to come into the courthouse?
Chidi?
Right. Yes, in addition to what I have said, Brooklyn is the busiest court in the whole of New York City. Believe it or not, it's double what Queens does. So we need more people in Brooklyn. We need more staff. We can't have the same level of staff as different counties like Staten Island. The civil court judges in Staten Island has one law clerk. The one in Brooklyn has one, but the volume is different, more than double in Staten Island. In Queens, they have almost double. So it's high time that we propose that civil court judges have at least two law clerks. The work is enormous. It's tedious. It's tedious. So we need more staffing, and we also need. I think the Brooklyn Civil Court needs. Look, Queens, they have a beautiful civil court. The Bronx, beautiful. Manhattan, big. Brooklyn is the smallest. The most populous county has the smallest civil court. They also you get into the elevator. It takes you from ground floor to maybe if you're going to 9th floor, probably 5 minutes in the elevator because it's slow, it's stopping, it's picking up people. You'd be better off just running through the stairs. So there are a few things that needs to be done in the Brooklyn courthouse. Staffing and building us a new civil court, and I think also more training for the judges. Some judges are stern, like I don't know. I don't want to call names, but some judges need better temperaments. Just to keep it that way. Some judges need training on temperament, and to know that without these litigants, you don't have a job. They don't know that. So thank you for the question.
Thank you. So I just want to take a moment to remind everyone that we have the question and answer open. We're going to start the Q&A from the audience just a few minutes. Before we do that, I also wanted to mention that we have several other district leaders on. Nikki Lucas has joined us, as well as Jennifer Faucher. Nikki, did you want to say hi?
Hi, please forgive me for not having my camera on, but good evening to everyone. I actually did just have my camera on by mistake.
And
but I
Jennifer?
turned it off, so just forgive me. I do have a quick question, however. Is that okay for me to ask?
Yes, it is.
We're coming to
for
the
me?
question.
Oh, sorry.
We're coming into the questions in just a minute, Nikki, and I'll come back to you.
Okay, not a problem.
Okay?
Okay.
Problem. The next question that I have for you, and then we're gonna go to the audience questions, including our wonderful district leaders. What motivates you personally? Like, what is that spark that made you seek this position as a civil court judge?
Sure, I can answer that. I would definitely say my legacy. That is really what has inspired me. I've talked about my mom and my grandmom who migrated, from the South and didn't have a lot of opportunities and did not have a lot of educational opportunities, but they always encouraged me. They always believed in me. They really made me believe that, listen, you can, you want to grow up to be a poet, you can do that. If you want to grow up to be a lawyer or even a judge, you can do that. And so that really is something that when I'm moving forward in my career, when I'm dealing with public and when I'm dealing with community, I feel like that is a way that I'm also honoring these two women who helped to raise me. And I'm giving back, just as they gave so much to me, I'm now giving back by being in the courtroom, by being involved in all these various extracurricular activities, we'll call them, such as the EGIC, such as giving back to the Metropolitan Black Bar Association as faculty, and of course, my community work, providing free writing workshops and community forums as a poet in the community.
Sorry,
Wonderful.
okay.
So now I'm gonna ask, oh, did you want, I'm so sorry, Chidi, forgive me. Did you have anything to
Yes.
add?
No, but what's the question again? I'm sorry.
The question is, what is the catalyst that spurred to this? Like, what is your personal reason for wanting to run to be a civil court judge?
Well, justice. I've always, I've won a case before, in Staten Island against all odds, for my clients. And, I didn't even realize how much the jury gave us because I was so happy to get justice for him. This is a professor that was arrested, claiming that he was sexually harassing a staffer and all that. These are all lies, and we proved it and the relief in his face. And later on, somebody was asking me, what was the award again? The jury award? I forgot, but it was 2.3 million. You can imagine that I wasn't even concerned with the money. It was just the joy of getting his name back, being labeled a sexual predator as a dean and getting it back. And I just told you, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I do that once in a while. We get we discharge a mortgage free, get a house free of mortgage. When I get that, I stay high for 2 months, excited. It's not about the money, but to see that somebody is going to be living, somebody who was struggling to pay their mortgage, and the bank put them in foreclosure. They are now going to be living for free. Huge house. Those things keep me high for many months. I just love it, and it's justice. Justice. It's like my wife asked me. She said, I said it before. You do all sorts of appeal. Why are you broke? I said, well, the same way Africa is the richest continent and still the brokest. That's how it is. For me, it's not money. It's just the joy of seeing people happy. And if I become a judge, and with the help of you guys, seeing somebody walk out of that courtroom and happy, and happy that justice has been served, that will do it for me. I just like just people who the reaction of people when they get justice. That's just one of my motivating factors here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Appreciate you both. I'm gonna turn this call over to District Leader Michael Boomer and Terry Hines in just a moment. But Nikki, you had a question?
Yeah, just a quick question, and it can be answered in any order. Just interested in knowing, has there been a case for either of you that you've represented that impacted the way that you approach your role as an attorney or as a judge?
Sure. Was there a second part to it? I know.
It was.
Well, Sabrina muted me,
I
so
know.
but
Apologies.
it was simply just how it impacted the way that you approach your role as a judge and your role as an attorney,
Okay.
and
I
how
can
you view the court.
Yes. Okay. Well, I can definitely answer the question about a case that has impacted me. Had a case, I think it was perhaps about a year ago. We were litigating an elderly woman. It was a non-payment. In housing court, we have non-payment cases where a litigant might be sued for non-payment, or holdovers where the landlord is trying to get the apartment back. This was a non-payment where the person was evicted legally because she did not pay. And however, when the landlord went in to do the eviction, they realized that
What happened to Juliet?
I'm not sure.
Maybe internet dropped. It happens. Internet.
Let's give her a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, she's here. Hold on. I may have done that. My apologies. Juliet, are you with us?
Yeah, that's strange. Yeah, I was there the whole time. I heard you all the whole time. That was so strange.
Strange.
That was weird. Anyhow, I was trying to tell my story. Hopefully I'll stay on this time.
Yeah.
All right. Can you
Okay, let
all
me-
see me or hear me? 'Cause
Yes, we can.
Oh, there we go. Great, fantastic. So this was basically the point of this case is that the person was evicted. It was an elderly person. When the landlord went into the apartment, they saw that there was a lot of clutter. Generally, in a case like that, I would try to find out, can the person pay and get back in the apartment? That would generally be my goal. But here we had another new issue. The person now couldn't go back in the apartment because there was so much clutter. It was what we call Collier's type of situation that there had to be a heavy duty cleanup. So this was a situation, sort of a case of first impression, where I thought of a solution would be get a guardian ad litem, get someone who can work with this elderly tenant, who can get the apartment cleaned up, help this respondent get their money and still make the landlord whole. And so it was a very novel, creative way of thinking to settle it. I had to basically convince, both sides. I think this can work, but we need the help of the guardian ad litem. We need both the attorney for the landlord and the guardian ad litem to work together. And I was able to we spent a number of hours on Teams, conferencing it, and finally coming up with a solution. So that was a great way of thinking. Sometimes you have to think out of the box on how to settle a case. And so I was very pleased that ultimately she did get that apartment back. The landlord was made whole. It took a lot of maneuvering. It took a little bit of time, but it was something that made me realize, and I think that's generally a skill that I have, settling cases, but this was a very unique, novel way to settle a case.
Moderator, can you repeat the question for me, please?
Sure. The question was, has there been a case that has impacted the way in which you approach your cases and view the court?
Nothing jumps out right away, but I've had different cases that are, some of them are conflicting with my personal belief. Like I've had a criminal case where I was representing the guy during just a day before it was a criminal case. Just a day before trial, he told me he did this crime. I'm like, wow, you had to wait until after we picked jury to tell me that you actually did this crime. What am I supposed to be doing here? Defending you and telling them you didn't do it? I said, listen, I'm not going to tell anybody. You're not going to understand to lie. We're just going to do cross-examination. If you want to get a new counsel, you're free to do that, but I'm not going to lie. He said, no, I'll still go with you. I said, okay, but you're not going to testify. You're not going to go lie. And we just, we actually got acquitted because the prosecution did a bad job, right? We actually got acquitted, but I wasn't excited. The witness couldn't identify him, basically. So he got acquitted. So that actually was one of those cases where I just didn't know whether to. That was a conflict with my conscience and with the court. Thank you.
I just want an extension to the question. Is that okay? Sabrina? I'm hoping you're saying okay. Chidi's, what was the determining factor to allow you to continue with the case after he told you he was guilty?
Well, it's with with lawyers, you have the prosecution still have to prove their case anyway. You didn't have to do nothing. You're not going to lie that he didn't do it. You're not going to put him on the stand to lie to the jury and to the court. You're just gonna, if they can prove their case, that's fine. You're not gonna put up you put up defense, like, cross-examination. Okay, did you see him? What was he wearing? Are you sure this is the guy? This, that, you're not gonna bring a witness to say it wasn't him. You just let the prosecution prove their case. Isn't that how it works? Sometimes prosecution can't find witnesses and criminals escape prosecution. So it's life. That's the ethical thing that we do as lawyers. You can just make the prosecution prove their case. You don't have to lie. It's their duty to prove their case. You know, if they can't prove it, even a murderer gets away.
Amazing. Thank you for that. Mike and Terry, I'll turn it over to you.
Hi, guys. There's some questions, hands up. Felix, yeah, saying up for a while, you want to ask a question? That's not.
Yes.
Felix.
Yes, I have a question. Good evening, everyone. My name is Felix Ceballos, and I hear a lot from both of you. But I want to know, in a few words, why you think you are ready for go to that position? Thank you.
Well, I go first. Moderator?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Ceballos, thank you for the question. Very important question. Yes, if I didn't think I was ready, I wouldn't be here trying to get in. I've actually had opportunities in the past, and I'm scared of that job. I used to be scared of it, but then I realized it took me a while it took me like 2 years to think about it. And you know what? You're actually going to make more difference in you know, I have all it takes. I have the compassion. I have the diligence. I mean, very hard work. I mean, if I can be doing appeals with no pay, you know how tedious it is. You know how tedious appeals are. Oh, I'm getting echo. All right.
Thank
So
you.
yes, so I think I have all the qualities you look for in a civil court judge. You know, I've actually put up my bio and my PAM card and list some of those qualities, which some of them I have listed, I have spoken of today, and I'm very respectful of lawyers. I think that the lawyers. Justice is twofold. It's not just it's not just delivering the decisions, but also making lawyers, attorneys feel comfortable and respect them and treat them nicely and read their papers. And I think I meet this criteria. Thank you, Mr. Ceballos.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you. Thank you so much for that question. I would say that my experience makes me ready for this position. Certainly as a sitting judge, I am already conducting trials, hearing motions. I've been fortunate to have a number of my legal decisions published in the New York Law Journal. I'm someone who is already running a courtroom. People who may not be familiar with housing court, many times we have very busy, heavy calendars. And that does take a lot of patience, a lot of coordination, and working with the courtroom staff, as well as working with the public to make sure that everyone has their day in court, but the court also hears those cases in a timely fashion during that day, because we have to get everything done by a certain time before we close the courtroom. So I would say that, plus my many years of experience before I became a judge. I have over 25 years of experience before becoming a judge, as I mentioned earlier, working in those different forums.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're expedient time because we're running a little over.
Okay.
We're going to ask a question that was typed in, and I think it's apropos to the question I already asked. So we're going to ask each of the candidates to answer this question. And it reads as follows. What do you think are the best strategies a judge should utilize to help settle cases?
I can go first. Well, you know, the settlement is a big thing on the bench, because first it reduces your caseload, it brings it down, and secondly, you see happy faces. Sometimes nobody wins. You said a good settlement is where nobody's happy. That's a good settlement, both sides, you know. And well, in federal court, they have what they call the camp. They do, it's called CAMP, where they send you to mandatory settlement conference. You can do mediation, you can have mediation, but the best way to settle is have both sides, have them. That's how they do it in federal court. I think in state court too, you speak to one person at a time, you tell them the weaknesses of their case, or the strength, and do the same to the other people and the other side, so they know their weak points. They know that some of that you may lose this case if you continue. You put that pressure on them to settle. I've done it many times. I've settled cases many times, both in federal, state, civil, even in criminal courts where we take plea. So I am very familiar with how to get settlement, and I love judges that do that prioritize settlement.
Thank you, Juliet.
Yes, I would say a very important part of being able to settle a case is really listening to both sides, letting each side explain to the court what their issues are. Often what I will ask litigants that are before me is, what is it do you see? What would you like a settlement to look like? What would a settlement look like for you? Then I'll ask the other side. And then oftentimes what I will do is I'll try to find something in the middle. So that if, one person thinks they should have to pay 100 and one's 200, I'll say, well, what about 150? What about if we split it in the middle and we could find a way to settle it? But I think a big part of it is really listening to each person, letting them sort of air what their grievances are. I certainly can tell you in housing court, there's a lot of issues that people, had outside of the court. So I try to say, listen, we're here in court today. For now, I want you to sort of put those to the side and let's just think about what the issues are before us. What can realistically happen here? So, and a big part of that is just really listening, letting each side say what their interests are, and then coming back with suggestions about how they might be able to settle it. And oftentimes that will work. It takes time. It's not something that's going to happen automatically. So you have to be patient as well. You have to put a little bit more energy and time, but it absolutely can happen.
Right.
Thank you both. Well, for the spirit of time, I'm going to turn it back over to our host, Ms. Sabrina. You got the floor.
Thank you so very much. Thank you to everyone who joined us this evening for the Municipal Civil Court Judicial Forum. We especially want to thank our heartfelt gratitude to the candidates, Juliet Howard and Chi Ezi, for their thoughtful participation, for sharing their visions for justice and service within the community. We wish each of you the very best of luck on your campaigns. A sincere thank you as well to our dedicated district leaders for their continued support, and to our district leader, Mike Boomer, our deputy law chair, Terry Hines, and our Brooklyn Young Democrats board member, Emily Sadler, for their invaluable help in making tonight's event a success. We hope everyone walks away feeling more empowered and informed. As a reminder, the Municipal District County Committee meeting will be held on Sunday, July 21st at 10 a.m. at Brooklyn College, Ingersoll Hall. Please be sure to register in advance if you have done so already. Thank you again and have a good night, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for the opportunity. Take
Have a good
care.
night, everybody.
Take care,
Good
everyone.
night, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you. If our host
Thanks.
could stay on for a moment, please.
Sure.
Thank you, everybody. Good night. I guess I'll get off.
Thank you so much. Good night. Juliet.
Okay,
Appreciate
take care,
you.
everybody. Thanks.
Have a good night. Sorry, give me a second.
Good night.
Just
Thank y'all
waiting.
for this. Appreciate it.
Oh, have a good night, Nikki. I'm just waiting for the rest of the. Don't get off, you guys. Everybody's left.
Sabrina?
Yeah, just waiting for the remaining attendees to remove themselves. Oh no, they got off.
No.
Anthony, did you
says-
record the?
It says 25 people are on, no?
No, I'm talking about the panel, the host. Amani didn't record it. Hold on.
It says 24 participants are on.
Yes, they're attendees. I see that.
Yeah, we can manually remove them.
Yeah, it's just taking a minute.
I'll help out.
Thank you. Ooh. Oh, you were faster than me. Y'all are fast. Okay. Anthony, did you record the meeting?
No, I didn't press record for the meeting.
Who did press record? Did James press record maybe?
Oh. Hold on. What's this?
Mike, you didn't press record, right?
Excuse me.
Mike,
Yeah, you
you didn't
didn't.
press record.
I think I did. I'm not sure.
We,
Did you press it?
You think
we
you
need to know. We need to know because we need to
No,
save.
record-
we-
Hold on. Let me see.
It's very important that whoever's on here that
Did
pressed
you record the
record.
meeting? Did you record the meeting?
Who are you asking?
Okay. James.